Game Night is a new comedy film that's brought to us by the same guys who gave us Horrible Bosses, which is, in my honest opinion, one of the more underrated comedies of recent years. So Game Night revolves around Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. They are a married couple, and once a week they get together with their group of friends and they just have a game night. You know, it could be charades or Pictionary or board games, whatever it might be. They all just come together and they just have a good time together. And this was definitely an element that I love that the movie did because it's relatable for anybody. I mean, we all have our group of friends that we all do something special with, you know, whether it's, you know, a game night, or we go out at night with them, or we watch movies with them. Could be anything. We all have something special that we do with our group of friends. However, on this particular game night, Jason Bateman's older and very successful brother named Brooks has come into town, and he's going to take part in the game night. Now, Jason Bateman doesn't have a particularly close relationship with his brother Brooks. You know, obviously Brooks being the big brother, Jason Bateman was very competitive with him, wanted to beat him, couldn't stand losing to him. It's something that's kind of stuck with him throughout his whole life. I mean, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, they've been trying to have a baby for a little while, but they haven't really been able to. And some people think it's because in the back of Jason Bateman's mind, it's some anxiety and stress that's really holding him back, that's keeping him from impregnating Rachel McAdams. Again, another element I like seeing with this movie. It shows just how much of a toll sibling rivalry can take on everyone. But anyways, what makes this game night so big and so special, if you want to put it that way, is Brooks is now going to run it, and he has said, alright, so here's what's going to happen. Two guys are going to storm in here, they're going to kidnap me, and you all have to try to find me. You're not going to know what's real, though. There could be elements of this game that feel very real, feel actually like a crime. There could be elements that are completely fake. Point is, you gotta overlook all of them if you're gonna find me. So sure enough, two guys come in, they beat the ever-living shit out of Brooks, they take him away, and now the search is on to find him. And I will say, this is definitely where a lot of hilarity really does ensue with this movie. Because obviously there are moments throughout this movie where the characters are not entirely sure what is real, what is fake. There's one moment in particular, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams are interrogating the group of guys who may have taken Brooks, and you know, Rachel McAdams thinking it's all a game, takes a gun, is playing around with it, messing with the guys, and then at one point she accidentally shoots Jason Bateman, and the problem is the gun was real, so the bullet actually went through his arm, and yeah, now he has a bullet wound. This was definitely something about the movie that I did like, because it does have you wondering at a point, it's like, is this actually a game, or is this something real, and it just happened to be a horrible coincidence that's on a game night where Brooks was planning a crime game? I like that I wasn't entirely sure what the movie was. It keeps you more intrigued, it keeps you hooked with it. Getting into some of the other friends that are part of Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams' group, there are things I liked about them, things I didn't really like about them. I mean, there's one guy in this group who would frequently bring a bunch of different bimbos to these, you know, game nights, and, you know, didn't really give a shit about winning, just, you know, had to bring this girl here before he had sex with her, whatever it was. Now he's brought, you know, this English woman. Actually, no, she's not English, she's Irish. That's actually very important. You know, he brings her over to, you know, how that was game night. She's actually really smart and good at it. And the movie's trying to make it out like, you know, a connection's gonna form with them, but I didn't really care for it. This guy was also a fucking idiot, too. I mean, there were times in the movie where it was really funny, but then there are times where it's, like, annoyingly stupid. It's like, really? Like, anyone could have figured that out. Anyone with common sense would have known what that was. You know, situations like those. I did really like the other couple that was friends with them, too. You know, there are people who have been together for a long time, and then, you know, they have this argument about things that went on in their past, you know, back when they weren't together, because it does kind of resemble real-life relationships, you know. Along the way, the longer you date someone, you may find out something about their past they didn't really know about, and you're just like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And then it creates a bunch of complications, may create jealousy, may create envy, may create a lot of things that may disrupt the relationship a little bit. But what I did really like with the group of friends is you do really buy the friendship that exists between them. You know, it's not like they're all just people who just get together for a game night for whatever reason, you know. They clearly have that love for each other, you know, that friend love for each other. So, you know, you see as the night's going on and they run into more dangerous and ridiculous shit and try to find Brooks, you know, they're all like, no, we have to stick together, we have to work together, you know, ride or die together, because friendship. Eventually along the way, the group does find Brooks, and Brooks here reveals to them, he's like, okay, I'm not as successful a businessman as you guys think I am. I'm actually a drug dealer. I deal coke for these hitless mob boss people, and now one of them is a little pissed off at me, and he's trying to kill me. Unless I can bring him this egg of a bunch of witness protection people, give that to him, and, you know, get myself a free pass out of it. I know it kind of sounds like, oh man, this guy's in deep shit, but the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm just like, alright, wait a minute. Is this real now, or is this still part of game night? Because Brooks did say, you're not gonna know what's real, you're not gonna know what's bullshit, so I'm sitting there wondering, I'm just like, is he still just playing an act here? I guess that was part of the issue for me. I mean, because you have no idea when it's not officially game night anymore and it's real, kind of has you sitting there just like, okay, am I supposed to feel suspense here? Am I supposed to be on the edge of my seat a little bit here? Because I'm not really feeling that, because I'm not sure if I should feel that, because I still don't know if this is a big charade. Eventually, after the group is able to take the witness protection list from this rich people fight club party that they had to crash, you know, eventually they get ambushed by the big mobster guy, and eventually they end up getting saved by Gary, who's played by, I don't know his name, he plays Todd in Breaking Bad. I get into this character for a minute. This guy was a really creepy motherfucker, to say the least. I guess he was originally part of the group of friends, but it was mostly because he was married to this woman who was more their friend than he was, and then she divorced him, and they're just like, alright, well, we don't have to invite him over anymore, so just throw him to the wind. But he's frequently standing in his mailbox, you know, just watching the group, asking these weird, creepy questions. This guy just knows how to choose creepy roles, and he plays them well, I'll say that much. So this guy Gary shows up, being a police officer and very skilled. He's able to save them and help them. But you do eventually realize that, you know, part of this game night with some of these criminals and captors is part of Gary's own game night. You know, mess with these, you know, people for, you know, not including him on the game night in years prior. But at the same time, you see that it's like, oh, okay, so is he in on this game night with Brooks? Is this still real? Like, what is this? I felt like the movie was trying to throw a few too many curveballs my way. At no point did I really feel like, okay, when is it real now? Is this still game night? Like, I still am not entirely sure what's happening. But eventually, game night officially wraps up with Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman, you know, saving Brooks after he got recaptured by the mobsters. You know, they save him from being taken to Bulgaria on the guy's plane. They end up killing one of these guys by, you know, getting him sucked into the plane turbine. You know, that scene in the trailer where Rachel McAdams is like, yeah, oh shit, he's dead. But yeah, they free Brooks, and then at this point, you do find out, okay, yes, this part was all real. You know, Brooks was a drug dealer and all that shit. You know, he apologizes for not being honest with Jason Bateman. You know, thanks him for coming to save him, and you know, they kind of make up after all the years of sibling rivalry. But yeah, it's even at this point, I'm just like, oh wait, so this was all real. Like, at this point, like, we are establishing, like, this was real. Like, this happened. Okay, but I just never felt the intensity of it. That's really the problem. I just never really felt suspense, because the whole time I'm wondering, like, is this a real game night or not? But yeah, that's basically where the movie ends. You know, Gary's now friends with everyone again. He's involved in game night. Brooks is involved in game night. And it's also, at the very end, Rachel McAdams is able to tell Jason Bateman, hey, good news. Because you were able to overcome your sibling rivalry with Brooks, you were able to get me preggers, so we're gonna have a baby. So all in all, I will say, game night was a really solid comedy. I will say, this movie was definitely funny, to say the least. There were quite a few moments throughout the game night, throughout the movie, between the different characters that actually had me laughing pretty hard and pretty often. Really loved the chemistry between Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman in particular. I really bought them as a married couple. They really played well off each other. The rest of the supporting cast in this movie does a good job. Everyone at one point or another had me laughing. There were some characters I found a little more annoying than others, but for the most part, I appreciated everyone in this movie. And the actual game night, if you will, that ensures is ridiculous. It's absurd. It leads to some moments that, dare I say, are hilarious. But the issue I have with this movie is, you know, at a point, you don't know if the movie's actually trying to be serious with the action or the event or the intense scene that's supposed to happen, because you're still in the mindset, it's like, is this real? Is this fake? Is this bullshit? Like, what is, like, should I feel intense? I don't know if I should, because I'm still pretty sure this might be game night. I don't know, maybe the movie was going for that the whole time, but in the back of my head, I'm just like, you know, at one point, if we could have really established, like, halfway through the movie that this was no longer a game night and it was real shit, then maybe some of the things would have taken a bigger toll on the audience. But in the end, I went into game night, didn't really think I was gonna get a very good movie out of it, and it definitely ended up being better than I thought it would be. And that ain't nothing. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.